A no is a compass, not a curse. You hear it and your chest tightens as if a door has slammed on your name. Step back. Study the hinges. Rejection is not a judgment on your soul. It is a diagram of power, incentives, and timing. The world is not whispering, "You are nothing." It is saying, "Under these terms, at this hour, with these risks, the answer is no." A prince reads the diagram. He does not bleed on it. You will be tempted to fight the messenger, to plead, to perform. Don't. Write down what the refusal actually revealed. Price too high for their budget cycle. Proof too thin for their risk. Timing off against another priority. Penalties too soft to make cooperation cheaper than defection. The map is already in your hand. Read the message inside like an auditor, not a lover. Was your ask unpriced benefits poetic, costs invisible? Did you make acceptance easy to delay and hard to verify? Did you force a quick decision without building a buffer of trust? In sales, a no often means, "I cannot justify this to the person above me." In dating, a no frequently means, "Your standard is unclear, your time is easy, your future is fog." In leadership, a no can mean, "Your rule is a wish because it never lands." None of these are verdicts on your worth. They are coordinates. They tell you where leverage lives and where it dies. Now separate Fortuna from fault. Some refusals are weather. Budgets freeze, markets dip. A gatekeeper wakes in a mood. A rumor steals an hour of oxygen. You do not confess your identity to the rain. You build a roof. Other refusals are design errors. The offer lacks risk reversal. The guarantee is vague. The milestones blur. The consequence is theater. Volatility is real. Incompetence is optional. Your dignity survives when you sort them cleanly. Do not write poetry about storms, stock sandbags. Do not romanticize fate. Fix the hinge that squeals. A prince is unfair only to one thing: excuses. Practice the clinical split-on. Paper. Draw 2 columns. Left. Whether you cannot command macro shocks, algorithm swings, sick kids, a sudden scandal that makes everyone cautious. Right. Levers you can move: price tiers, trial periods, verification steps, proportional penalties, scheduled check-ins, a second supplier in your pocket. When the world says no, you adjust the right column first. Add a milestone with an exit. Put teeth in your SLA. State the rule once and apply it once to grow memory. If your proof is weak, do a small win that can be photographed. If your timing is off, lengthen the runway and reapproach when your task can survive scrutiny without your breath. Treat every no as a counteroffer from reality. The world is negotiating, and its terms are blunt. Change your ask, or change the terrain. Change the ask, sharpen the benefit, shorten the distance to value, bear more initial risk, codify the penalty that makes betrayal expensive. Change the terrain, shift from talk to written proposals, move from live debate to documented criteria, pull the decision onto ground where receipts rule and performance is visible. If a platform throttles your reach, build an email list. If a buyer hides behind, circle back, give a final date, and withdraw politely. If a romance wants you on call, publish your schedule and let time do the sorting. Those who fit will lean in. Those who don't will call you cold. Let them. Remember, sulking is unpaid labor for your enemies. Statecraft is paid learning. You do not chase, you reroute. You do not tantrum, you tighten. Rejection is feedback from the border where your standards meet the world. Strengthen the gate, don't burn the city. The next approach should be cheaper to say yes to, more expensive to waste, and immune to the last storm that drowned you. One clean adjustment beats 10 emotional explanations. Your allies will feel the difference first. Fewer apologies, clearer offers, calmer pace. Your rivals will feel it next. Less surface to grab, more cost to resist. You can leave the battlefield or own it. Let the map lead you. Change price, proof, penalty, or place, then go again without noise, at a time of your choosing, with options in both hands. If the world still says no, you learn faster than the world can punish. That is power. Not a perfect record, but a perfect response cycle. Cold eyes, warm hands, clean terms. Next move. I turn every no into a new route. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. You wait for recognition like the weather, hoping they will finally see your value. They won't. Worth rarely speaks on its own. Gatekeepers move on contracts, precedent, and risk buffers. They scan for paper, not poetry. A recruiter says you are impressive and asks for references. A client loves your passion and requests a trial with an exit clause. A publisher praises your voice and wants audience numbers. None are villains. They are custodians of risk. If you rely on vibes, you volunteer for delay. Replace fantasy with logistics. Translate value into artifacts that travel without you. A one-page proof deck, public case studies, service tiers, timelines, warranties, and penalties for missed milestones, yours included. Pre-collect testimonials and publish thresholds. Reply in 24 hours, deliver in 10 days, refund if X underperforms. Build buffers that reassure the nervous. Escrow, staged payments, opt-out checkpoints. When the contract writes safety into the relationship, strangers move faster and friction drops. Next comes authenticity without offer. You upload sincerity at scale and call it strategy. Raw self-expression feels righteous because it hurts to make. Pain is not a product. People buy outcomes secured by terms, not feelings with captions. Think of the creator who shares a vulnerable story, then asks for vague support. Comments surge. Sales stay flat because no path exists. Consider the freelancer whose site declares, "I care deeply." About what, for whom, at what price, under what guarantee. Without structure, authenticity is a feeling that evaporates at checkout. Package with precision. Define the benefit in one line. Show proof in 2. Attach terms in 3. Benefit. We increase qualified leads by 40% for boutique gyms. Proof. 5 case studies. Average lift 38-46% in 90 days. Terms. Fee split in 2 milestones. If week 6 targets miss by 20%, you pay half. The tone stays human. The frame turns steel. Your story still matters, but it now escorts an offer that protects the buyer's downside and clarifies your upside. Packaging is power because it lowers risk for them and clarifies commitments for you. Then the theater of speed. You reply in minutes, pivot in hours, and congratulate yourself for being hungry. Hunger can close a door. It can also sell you cheap. Instant responses leak leverage because they lock you into terms before information matures and allies align. A founder answers an investor at midnight, accepts small tweaks, and wakes to a cap table she cannot defend. A service lead approves scope in a chat window, then spends a month swallowing the cost. A partner texts back instantly to every half invite and becomes forgettable. Trade urgency, addiction for controlled tempo. Publish reply windows and follow them. Route proposals to a review cadence that forces thinking. Price decisions after sleep. Contract edits on Fridays with counsel. Partnership calls after a written brief. Use the pause to widen options, secure comparables, gather numbers, recruit a co-signer. When you speak, speak once with edges. Strategic delay is not avoidance, it is harvest. Information ripens in silence. Allies take their places while you remain still and deliberate. Finally, niceness as weak credit. You hand out second chances like candy because you want to be fair and teach people that your costs are imaginary. The late payer learns nothing happens on day 31. The friend who cancels learns you will always fold. The teammate who delivers chaos learns you will burn your weekend to make them look good. Kind without consequence invites repeat rejection because you underwrite the damage. They are not evil. They are responding to the interest-free loan your softness extends. Calibrate warmth after credibility. Start with minimum force, delivered consistently. Price late payment into the contract with automatic fees, no essay required. Tie access to reliability. On-time work earns priority. Last-minute chaos moves to the end of the line. In dating, raise the price of disrespect. Last-minute reschedules lose location choice. Repeated flakiness loses access. In family, do not monologue, adjust access to your time. Praise publicly, correct privately, and let the system remember so you do not have to perform. Thread these corrections into one spine. Stop waiting to be discovered. Be verified by artifacts. Stop performing your feelings. Deliver stated results in stated windows. Stop sprinting for approval. Adopt a cadence that lets power accumulate before you act. Stop spending kindness you have not earned. Build a credit score with consequences. Then spend warmth like interest on a stable principle. Practical turns the key. Build a proof library this week. Before and after screenshots, dates, numbers, and terse narratives. Draft a 3-tier offer with scope, price, and guarantees. Set a 24-hour rule before discounts sleep once. If the offer survives your rest, it survives the market. Write your enforcement ladder and automate it. Reminders, fees, pauses. Publish your availability and protect deep work like a border. Replace DM debates with a scheduled call where decisions are made once. What you want, respect, reliable love, durable money arrives when others can predict you. They will not worship your essence, they will trust your system. They will stay not because you bear your soul, but because your terms are fair. Your delivery is boringly on time, and your temper is shorter than your policy manual. Reputation is not a feeling others have. It is a set of memories you stage on purpose. Return to the opening line. Most will see your appearance. Few will feel your substance. Make it easy. Put your substance in writing, your offers in packages, your pace on a clock, and your kindness behind a gate. Let them meet your value the way serious people prefer, as a contract with outcomes attached. Stop asking the weather to bless you. Build roofs, clocks, and doors that close. Artifacts over vibes, cadence over panic, kindness after credibility. You think rejection is a hammer. It isn't. It is a mirror that shows who grips your nerves. Approval addiction is the first crack in that mirror. Wanting to be liked now, you buy warmth with discounts, extra access, and explanations no one asked for. A client sighs, your price drops. A partner delays, you rush in with goodwill. A follower sulks, you apologize for a rule that never changed. Each move looks humane, yet it spends authority. One concession becomes 2, then 10, until you are enforcing moods instead of laws. Affection becomes a toll road. Others charge you to use your own standards. Study the bargain you keep losing. You trade flexibility for affection and receive contempt. Testers are rarely seeking fairness. They are hunting proof that you are purchasable. Over-explaining hands them the blueprint, your thresholds, your fears, the exact point where you will bargain with yourself. Chasing late payments, because we value the relationship, advertises that your ledger can be held hostage by mood. The loop locks in. You chase, they retreat. You offer more, they set the next test. Rejection begins to feel fatal because your self-respect is tied to other people's temperature. Break the loop by installing visible scarcity. Price lists are law, not weather. Response windows are policy, not apology. Scope changes trigger new quotes, not favors. Publish these in calm hours, then keep them when storms arrive. When someone tests you, let the wind spend itself against the wall. You can be warm without negotiating against yourself. If they walk, what leaves is an illusion that love proved value. What remains is value that attracts sturdier love later. Next comes avoidance, sold as kindness. You fear being harsh, so you soften until the fabric tears. Boundaries turn into suggestions. Penalties mutate into final warnings that multiply. Exits are delayed until the hallway is crowded with problems that should have left months ago. You call it grace, your team feels chaos, your future self inherits a mess you refuse to clean. Rejection then crushes you because you trained your body to confuse pain with wrongdoing. Any firm line feels like cruelty, any delay feels like care. Redefine firmness as care for the state you are sworn to protect. Time, money, reputation, alliances. A clean no is an evacuation before the flood. A timely penalty is a firebreak that spares the forest. A decisive exit is surgery that prevents greater pain. Speak briefly and early. This breaks the rule. Work pauses. Payment clears, then delivery resumes. Rumor stops now. Bring evidence or leave. Keep tone respectful, but let the schedule carry the steel. People heal from clear cuts. They cannot heal inside fog. Protect your courage with routine. Run 10-minute audits each week. Where did a boundary slip? Where did the cost hide? Where did the promise age? Issue 2 orders, 1 cut, 1 invest, and move on. The first time you will feel guilty. That guilt is the noise old habits make when order returns. Over weeks, respect grows quiet and thick. Rejection loses power because standards, not moods, govern the room. Now face purity theater versus stewardship. You want to look spotless, so you grandstand with "I never negotiate," as if flexibility were sin. But cities are held by working coalitions, not perfect reputations. Refusing lesser evils breeds larger ones that citizens pay for later. You reject a gritty ally because their style offends your circle. Supply stalls. You insist on a glorious public fight to look noble. Legal fees eat your seed corn. You confuse pageantry with protection of the commons and then mistake the pain of consequences for proof of righteousness. Stewardship is simpler and harder. Protect the state. Keep lights on, shelves stocked, payroll certain, trust compounding. Sometimes that means quiet concessions that cost image and save capacity. Sometimes it means delaying disclosure until operations can hold it. Sometimes it means partnering with imperfect people because deadlines and lives are not waiting for optics to improve. Speak in arithmetic. This cut spares salaries. This alliance delivers medicine. This sequence prevents panic. You are not lying. You are pacing truth so it does not collapse the bridge it must cross. Then comes the mirror of status panic. Rejection stings, pride flares, and suddenly you are broadcasting your wounds. You post long threads to prove you weren't wrong. You call emergency meetings to clear the air. You challenge small critics with big speeches that scare neutrals and energize enemies. Allies step back because your volume turns their quiet help into risk. You trade a recoverable bruise for a public brawl that stains months. Swap spectacle for recalibration. After a no, go dark to see clearly. What failed offer, timing, message, or audience? What can be salvaged without noise? Move resources instead of emotions. Tighten targeting. Refine the promise. Raise price to match real value. Lower exposure where the returns are fake. Reach out privately to the few whose buy-in compounds. Skip the crowd whose attention devours. Announce only what you can execute. Calm correction teaches more than 100 declarations. The city remembers what works, not who shouted. A ruler's work is not to feel nothing. It is to keep feelings from writing policy. Approval, hunger, avoidance, and purity theater will volunteer for cabinet posts every morning. Give them a desk and no vote. Let them warn you, then send them home. Your constitution lives in ledgers and calendars. Your honor is measured in projects finished, promises kept, people paid, and rooms that grow quiet when you enter, because patterns, not speeches, arrive with you. Build a cadence that outlives mood. For approval. Pre-commit sentences for pressure, short, dull, immovable. Not available. Scope change, new quote. Input closed, decision Friday. For avoidance. Publish an escalation, ladder notice, pause, penalty, removal, and climate without performance. For stewardship. Decide in daylight the hierarchy you protect: payroll over perks, supply over shine, safety over sentiment, alliances over applause, and let ugly choices execute on schedule. For status panic, hard rule, no public response for 24 hours unless safety is at stake. In that pause, move levers, not microphones. You think rejection ends you. It doesn't. It reveals whether your throne sits on crowd noise or on stone. When your laws defend your nerves, a no is weather, not prophecy. You can mourn a lost deal and still guard tomorrow's deal from the same leak. You can feel the heat of humiliation and still let the room cool while facts return. You can look cold to strangers and be tender to those who rely on your steadiness. Walk the city after a quiet refusal. Stores open. Inboxes stay orderly. Payroll is boring. Meetings end on time. People speak softly because the rules speak loudly. That is victory when it stops begging for a stage. Continuity, a city that survives your feelings and, in that survival, earns your love back clean. Hold the wall. Let praise arrive late. The square watches the mask, not the wound. You take a public, not like a knife to pride. Instead of tightening your hand on the reins, you rush to soothe faces and explain timelines. The city sees it. While you rehearse feelings, others rehearse your story. The gate stays ajar. Rumor carts roll in. You are still arguing intent. They are already selling outcomes. After a public no, indecision smells like meat. Rivals slice it thin and feed their courts. Maybe they'll reconsider, you say. And the square translates, we can push. Rooms you never enter. Decide how your brand will apologize, which terms are flexible, and when you will blink in daylight. Gossip gains jurisdiction. Influencers mint interpretations that travel faster than memos. A friendly thread clarifies your character and frames you as soft when kind and rash when firm, because a vacuum lets appetite price you. Drift is not weather, it is expense. While you hunt for the perfect explanation, the market drafts a constitution with your name and someone else's pen. A vendor advances a timeline you declined, calls it Phase 0, and collects applause in your colors. A partner quotes your private courtesy as public policy. Inside your walls, teams hold their breath, then act without you, because breath runs out and clocks do not pity. You meant to gather facts. You delivered opportunities to those who profit when you narrate, instead of deciding. Then comes the splintering, the apology tour, the U-turn, the angry post you call setting the record straight. Mixed signals fracture trust faster than malice. Monday, you emphasize standards. Wednesday, you apologize for tone. Friday, you promise to listen. Sunday, you retake the field with a thread written in heat. People stop reading your words and start reading your pulse. Partners price your volatility, not your promise. Inside, the over-explainer appears, the prince of paragraphs flooding channels with context with no consequence. The more you explain, the more you teach the city that attention buys edits to the law. Forensic truth is cold. When behavior softens, costs harden. Discounts show up that were never earned. Late fees vanish under "we value the relationship," and that sentence trains the square to invoice emotion. Scope creeps through side doors labeled "good faith." Legal drafts multiply to catch what a spine could have halted in one line. HR spirals, interviews, statements, training spin around grievances born from rules, whispered and then contradicted. Soft behavior is a check the ledger must cash. Panic follows fatigue. You begin to read mentions like weather. If clouds gather, you hurry to the square with an umbrella of optics. A rejection that could have been absorbed by one early, measured line becomes a week of content, and content requires fuel. You supply it, a video, a space, a long note. You ask to be understood instead of asking to be believed. Belief is built on clocks and consequences, not feelings confessed to strangers. Then the loud, late counterattack. Shame swings the arm that patience refuses to train. At dawn you draft zero tolerance, copy half the world, and call an all-hands to reset. You ban what you tolerate, you punish what you excuse. It feels like justice because it is forced. It reads as theater because it is late. The crowd sees not law but pain amplified. Bait appears, tags that dare you to roar again, posts that call you hypocrite, proposals designed to trigger your need to be right. You take the bait, and the square learns a darker rule. Your pride writes policy. Tragic realism. Counterattacks rescuing pride are the most expensive wars. You arrest symbols, miss architects, and scorch goodwill. People who would have accepted a calm, early edge now resent a sweeping purge. The innocent carry the weight because broad speed is blind. The guilty cite your history, lawyered and rehearsed. Your authority looks like anger in uniform. Enemies cut it into clips. Allies go quiet. They must protect their names. Open the ledger. Count what pride concealed. Missed windows. The week spent soothing, the square was the week a rival shipped a quieter answer. That cost is not a feeling, it is a share you will buy back with years. Time theft. Meetings to justify reversals, clarity sessions, and second briefings eat the hours meant for decision. Alliance fatigue. Partners who once staked you now buffer you higher rates, longer terms, fewer public bets, because price follows risk. Legal and HR spirals. Ambiguity breeds procedures. Procedures breed months. Burnout. Your best people carry the load created by uneven rules and start writing private exit plans. Budget bleed. Goodwill refunds, crisis discounts, overtime to patch avoidable fires, and the quiet tax of distracted leadership. Cash is simple math. A small discount to end a storm repeats twice and becomes expected. Margins move and do not return. A goodwill refund buys a single headline. The habit sells an identity you cannot afford. Recruiting drag compounds. The strongest talent wants to live behind reliable walls. If your gates sing, they will not move in. Reputation is a cost of capital story condensed into a sentence. Can this person be predicted under heat? If yes, capital is cheap. If not, even friendship is priced. Now the repair, and it is not romantic. Become dull in the eyes and sharp in the hand. 1 page of framing beats 100 pages of apology. Decide in advance what a public no means and publish timing, not adjectives. If we decline X, we do not revisit for Y days. If challenged, we answer once on Z channel. Exceptions live only on this list. Tie each line to a credible consequence you will carry. Refund, removal, delay. Declare less. Keep exactly. When a no goes public again, refuse the theatre. Acknowledge in one paragraph. Repeat the frame. Enforce the cost calmly. Offer a narrow path back if mission permits. Terms, timing, proof. Do not fight screenshots with novels. Fight them with clocks. Bring allies into view, people who hold ground without flinching or flattering. Reduce access for those who trade your pulse for profit. Reward those who held the line when your feelings leaked. In private life, mirror the state. When someone rejects a boundary, do not barter for affection. Do not bait for validation. Do not write essays to the void. Let the no stand, and let your calendar prove belief in your own law. Those who respect law will return with terms. Those who need your tremble will move to easier courts. You are not stone. You are scheduled. Schedules, kept, heal reputations faster than speeches. You can end the cycle. Stop taking rejection as a verdict on worth. Treat it as a map of incentives and a test of cadence. Early, measured response costs little and saves blood. Late loudness spends capital to buy silence for a day. Choose the cheaper war. Be boring in public and exact in private. The square will call it cold until they feel safe again. Let them. Hold your frame early, spend your words rarely, and pay in time, not blood. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You were trained to chase embraces as proof you matter, to sand down every edge so no one feels a draft. But affection that arrives before order spends tomorrow's peace. Replace the need to be embraced with the aim to be trusted. Trust is not a mood, it is a ledger that closes. People test the walls, not the wallpaper. They stay where the rules defend them when the weather turns. Respect before affection. Sequence equals competence, boundaries, results, selective warmth. Competence is your first oath. Carry weight on schedule without theatre. Plans become calendars, calendars become deliveries. When you miss, repair before the rumor grows and show the receipt. Speak less about effort, display reliability. Predictability is the quietest form of love you can offer. Boundaries are the gates that keep competence from being strip-mined. Guard mornings like a treasury. Do not answer at midnight unless blood or fire is involved. Decline meetings with no agenda. Say no in a normal voice and let silence complete the sentence. When a line is crossed, do not argue your standard. Act once, reduce access, move deadlines, reassign work, quiet, clean, final. People respect a gate that moves on schedule, not a gate that begs to be respected. Results lock the gate. Promises mature into numbers you can point to. Shipped projects, paid invoices, reduced errors, habits kept 90 days. In dating, results read as observable respect, on-time arrivals. Truth told the first time, leaving when contempt appears. In family, results mean help with terms, budgets, receipts, review dates, not endless rescues. Once outcomes stack, warmth changes meaning. It stops being bait for approval and becomes the gentle weather inside strong walls. Mercy after enforcement. Kindness lands when optional, without teeth. Compassion is surrender wearing perfume. Publish rules, timelines, and penalties. Enforce once. Only then open the hand. On a team, a missed standard triggers the posted consequence, lost bonus, reduced scope, a remediation plan with dates, followed by a path to earn restoration with measurable improvement. In a relationship, forgiveness follows full ownership and verified change apology. Restitution, new routines logged and reviewed. Keep your tone like dry steel. You are not auditioning for sainthood or vengeance. You are governing. Mark the line. Deliver the fit penalty. Return to construction. Do not lecture for an hour. The hour belongs to building. Because citizens know the sequence rule. breach, consequence, path back, anxiety falls, tests shrink, gossip starves, people work, not perform. Treat rejection as a lens, not a wound. Sorting as a strategy. Every no classifies reality. Wrong buyer, wrong timing, wrong channel. The person who wants your labor without your rate is not an enemy. They are the wrong market. The partner who dislikes your boundaries is not a mystery. They are the wrong contract. The crowd that demands spectacle over standards is not the public. It is the wrong audience for a durable state. You are not here to persuade the wrong fit into love. You are here to deploy resources where they actually belong. Operate like logistics. When your prize draws flinches, you learn the segment, not your worth. When your no triggers tantrums, you preview the maintenance costs you avoided. When policy reduces inbound noise, you discover where to scale. Move people, projects, and attention toward aligned terrain. Buyers who value delivery, partners who respect lines, teammates who prefer clarity to drama. Cut losses early. Reinvest in the canals that carry revenue and peace. Records make this sustainable. Write the rule once so you do not negotiate it 100 times. Post-response windows. Track breaches and the single penalty applied. Review quarterly where drift crept in and where compliance created calm. Strategy is not taste, it is math. Count the arguments that vanished after you published standards. Count the refunds avoided when you document scope. Count the evenings reclaimed when you stopped explaining and started scheduling. Victory is cost avoided, the fight you never had to fight. Modern life will tempt you to harvest approval and mortgage order, always reachable, permanently forgiving, endlessly entertaining. This flatters pride while it robs authority. Citizens do not attach to a circus, they attach to roads, lights, and law. Your partner relaxes when bills are paid and time is real. Your team invents when the floor will not drop. Your friends trust you with silence because your word does not sway with the weather. That is how affection becomes durable, not as fireworks, but as climate. Make moves that can be audited. 3 morning rules kept for 30 days. Office hours honored. A short playbook for common requests so half your no is pre-written policy. When someone pushes past your line, do not debate, tighten a lever they can feel. Time, access, responsibility. When you forgive, set a review date and require proof. When you choose warmth, place it after results, not instead of them. Let charm carry policy, never let it replace policy. Reframe the desire. You are not here to be embraced and then, maybe, respected. You are here to be trusted and then selectively embraced by those who value what your standards protect. Respect before affection, mercy after enforcement, sorting as strategy. Build the routine that becomes a reputation, and the reputation that becomes peace. Let rejection do its quiet work, freeing your treasury for loyal citizens and worthy allies. Be trusted first, then be chosen. Steel closes the door, the room quotes. You look at the no until it tells the truth. Rejection is not a verdict on your worth. It is a report on your leverage. You will feel the flash shame, anger, the urge to chase. Do not chase, convert it. This playbook turns refusal into fuel with forensics, offers redesign, terrain control, tempo discipline, consequence memory, buffers, and alliance math. You do not ask the gate to love you. You change the hinges. Begin with forensics in 24 hours. Emotion hates numbers. Give it numbers anyway. Open a 1-page autopsy. Facts only. Costs, alternative paths. Was the issue offered, proof, or timing? Facts. Who decided? Which clause failed? What was said verbatim? What dates moved? Costs. If you pursue, what do you spend? Reputation, time, money. If you drop, What do you lose learning? Access, near-term cash. Alternatives. 3 paths forward and the price of each. Name the pattern and the blind spot you will fix. Redesign the offer so the next yes is cheaper to grant. Upgrade benefits, proof, and risk reversal. Benefits. State outcomes, not ornaments, fewer returns, faster cycle time, more qualified leads. Translate into numbers your buyer can defend. Proof. Stack receipts, dated case studies, screenshots, before-after metrics, named references with permission. Risk reversal. Remove excuses to stall. Offer a pilot with milestones, a pay-for-performance slice, or a guarantee tied to behaviors you can control. Add a clear exit if targets are met early. Shift the terrain so negotiations cool and receipts lead. Move out of chat into documents where exaggeration shrinks. Require proposals with 3 parts: fact, cost, next. Set deadlines on both sides. Proposal Wednesday 5 p.m. Decision Friday noon. Expires next Wednesday. Let the channel do the policing. In writing, tone softens, gaps reveal, and timestamps pin intent. If they try to drag you into emotional arenas, late-night calls, vague, let's circle back, answer with ground rules. Put it in a 3-line note. Fact, cost, next. Control tempo with ruthless patience. Bind your emotions to clocks you cannot bargain with. T24 for forensics, T72 for redesign and scenario pricing, T168 for the move. No decisions before inputs, no delays after the window. Install tripwires that activate without drama. If they miss 2 decision deadlines, the file closes for a quarter. If payment lags 7 days, work pauses. If scope creeps without a signed change order, original terms, resume. Your old reflex will begin to chase. Let the clock answer, not your adrenaline. Let history carry your authority with credible consequence memory. Publish short, clear rules while spirits are cool. Enforce once calmly, document outcomes. Deposits are non-refundable after kickoff. Public contempt ends access for 30 days. 3 late deliverables in a quarter trigger review. When a line is crossed, you do not argue intent. You show the clause and step on the rung. 1 clean enforcement beats 10 speeches. Record the case. Date, breach, consequence, effect. Over months, your ledger becomes quiet power. Build buffers against Fortuna so no becomes survivable, even cheap. Cash reserves buy patience. Patience buys dignity. Stack months of expenses so a lost deal does not bend your backbone. Time reserves, deep work blocks, and a weekly repair hour keep a single rejection from infecting your week. Optionality. 2 suppliers engaged. 2 prospects warm. 2 skills in training frees you from kneeling to any gatekeeper. Guard your narrative like money. Keep an evidence vault. Contracts, scopes, timelines, emails, screenshots, decision notes, and dated summaries of calls. Draft prepared statements for predictable storms, delay, defect, dispute, departure. When fog arrives, the side with receipts decides the weather. Run alliance math and visible patronage so cooperation concentrates around your standards. Reward loyal counterparts in daylight, public credit, better terms after reliable quarters. First look at new work. Make the regime obvious. Here, reliability rises. Prune chronic time wasters early, those who request 5 proposals and sign none, the quick chat artists, the last-minute escalators. Decline with a factual note and archive the file. Replace them with tools, training, or talent that multiplies loyalty. Coalitions are not romance, they are math with names. Use modern scenes to tighten the grip. A brand declines your campaign, for now. T24. Autopsy decision-maker prefers proven verticals, proof thin in their niche, budget locked until Q2. T72. Redesign. Offer a paid pilot with 2 milestones, a clawback if you miss, and a bonus if you beat targets. Attach 2 dated case studies. Terrain. Send a 1-page addendum with scope, costs, deadlines. Decision window Friday noon. Tempo. If silence, close file until Q2. Do not chase. Buffers. Because cash and calendar are steady, you can wait without groveling. Incentives. Offer priority access next quarter for fast signature now. No fight, only rails. Another day, a partner rejects your boundary and pressures you in public. Forensics. The issue is not value, it is control. Consequence memory. Rule states public contempt ends access for 30 days. Enforce once, calmly, and log it. Alliance math. Inform reliable collaborators, praise their discipline in daylight, and offer one the slot the offender lost. Terrain. Move future touches to email. Require agendas for any call. Incentives. Restoration possible after a clean quarter with 3 on-time handoffs. At home, rejection cuts deep. The same tools protect dignity. A date declines a second meeting. T24. Forensics fit and timing, not your worth. Cost. Chasing bleeds, self-respect. Acceptance preserves it. Next. Send a brief, gracious note. Close the file. Return to craft and sleep. Offer redesign. Update your profile to signal standards with warmth. Choose photos that match your week. State scheduling windows. Plan first meetings that respect both calendars. Terrain. Keep early conversations in writing until trust is earned again. Tempo. Wait your windows. Do not bargain with silence. Consequence. If boundaries are mocked, access ends. Buffers. Friends. Fitness. Savings. And work that give you places to stand. Remember the philosophy under the protocol. Machiavelli did not confuse hope with policy. He respected Fortuna enough to engineer against her, and trusted virtue because it moves under pressure. Rejection is a weather report. You do not curse the rain. You build dikes, schedule the harvest, and choose better seeds. You do not perform strength. You install it. In time, no becomes information, not injury. You collect, redesign, move ground, hold tempo, let precedent speak, sit on reserves, and pay allies in daylight. Your reputation walks ahead like a simple code, predictable, fair, unafraid. The city you govern your calendar, contracts, feeds, and face stays orderly while markets lurch and rooms judge. That is leverage. Not louder words, but cleaner rails. Learn fast, price clean, move once. Men, in general, judge more by the eyes than by the hands because everyone can see, but few can feel. You handle rejection where everyone can see, but you use it to build what few can feel. A no is not a wound, it is a map correction. You stop begging at closed gates and redraw the road. Standards tighten, schedules harden, and you move resources from fantasy to fact. The city inside you grows quieter. Meetings shrink because decisions no longer chase approval. They follow criteria. Deals move faster because prices are printed and emotions are not the currency. Rumor dies because outcomes are posted at the wall. People breathe easier around you, not because you always win, but because your losses do not set the city on fire. This is the calm after discipline. Fewer detours, cleaner ledgers, doors that open because your word means only one thing. Walk the city-state at first light. The baker counts flour, not excuses. The smith checks the edge, not the feed. Your council meets for 20 minutes, not 2 hours, because the question is framed and the options are cost. Rejection has simplified the map. Dead routes are sealed, and traffic flows to working bridges. A client says no, you cut the pitch, keep the template, and send the next offer to a fitter harbor. A friend withdraws, you close the gate without a speech and double the rations for the builders who stayed. Your justice is reliable. One consequence, then back to work. People sleep because the walls hold, your walls strengthened by every no that showed you where not to pour stone. Rejection cleans your supply lines. You stop exporting time to those who trade in maybe. You stop subsidizing chaos with second chances that were never earned. You codify the lesson. This task, this rate, this timeline, or the gate remains closed. The market around you adjusts upward. Good allies prefer cities that keep standards because standards keep them safe. Love grows differently too. When you refuse to chase affection, that remains becomes proof, not theater. The room calms because your boundaries do not move to flatter moods. You become predictable in the ways that matter. Promises kept, costs carried, exits clean. Hold to humane realism. No cruelty for spectacle. Severity is a scalpel only where infection threatens the wall, only as deep as needed, never to prove you are strong. You do not turn no into a parade of bitterness, nor do you bribe yes with your future. Order first, then mercy. Mercy before order invites wolves to nose the fence. Mercy after order turns a rival into a taxpayer who respects the rates. You accept losses without theater. You pay the bill quietly and move the project where it can live. When you err, you repair fast and plainly to restore trust, not to harvest pity. Dignity preserves hours arrogance would waste. In modern life, it looks plain. An investor declines. You cut the deck, refine unit economics, and offer a smaller, sharper round to better aligned partners. No scorched earth on social media. A client ghosts. Your CRM triggers a final invoice and a courteous closure note. No long arguments, no bleeding discounts. A date withdraws. You tighten your schedule, sharpen your craft, and keep your voice off the begging. Channel standards are the moat that protects affection from corrosion. Your city records the no, extracts its signal, and redeploys the freed attention to assets that compound, health, skill, and alliances that pay in both directions. Now the oath after no. You vow to frame, enforce, and redeploy. Frame first. Define the ask, the rate, the timeline, so a refusal teaches you something worth keeping. Enforce cleanly. One response, clear and calm, then close the gate. Redeploy immediately. Move time, money, and focus to the next best road. You vow never to chase, you will calibrate. You vow to accept losses without spectacle. You will carry costs without complaint. You vow to let kindness ride behind. Strength horse first, carriage second, so that those who live inside your walls can build in peace. You will measure your rule by the crises that never happen, the rumors that die at the wall, and the doors your name opens before you arrive. Storms will still visit, but fewer will become disasters. Each no will thicken your mortar, refine your roots, and filter your allies until the city hums at a steady pace. People will rest because credibility got there first. Love will last because standards guard the gate. This is sober optimism, not soft, not loud, simply the quiet earned when you let rejection edit the map instead of your dignity. I let no refine the city I'm building.